The real fear appears to be anal sex. This is what the real phobia seems to be. However, it manifests itself in a massive anti-homosexuality paranoia.
Wow.
To the point that it was a bill was put forth in the Ugandan government today, Ugandan parliament, to make homosexuality punishable by death.
Wow.
Homosexuality between two consenting adults would simply get you life in prison. Gay sex with disabled people or those under age 18 would face the death penalty.
Wow. That's pretty severe. God, draconian by anybody's standards. But
There are obviously a lot of people, a lot of organizations around the world that have come out against this as being a little too much. Not the least of which, and I mention it for his impact, Pastor Rick Warren, the American Evangelist Christian from Saddleback Megachurch in California, condemns the bill as unfortunate, says that, well, he condemns the bill, and the Ugandan MP that put it forward calls his condemnation unfortunate. I read somewhere, it's not in this piece of news, that the conservative group here in the U.S., The Family, which has really strong ties apparently to Ugandan officials, also came out and against the bill as being a little too harsh. And The Family is certainly no friend of liberal or socially minded people. It's called by a lot of organizations. I believe I actually saw something about the Catholic Church even making a similar comment that it's too much. But yeah, that's Uganda. That's where there are a lot of countries around the world that are going that way, that are not just criminalizing homosexual acts, but severely criminalizing it.
yeah.
Life in prison or a death penalty. Yeah, and those convicted of having gay sex with disabled people or those under 18, well, how do you define disabled people? If you define homosexuality as a mental disease, then everybody you have sex with is disabled.
Sure.
Now, apparently, they're
Which they would conceivably do if they wanted to.
I'm missing the word, but apparently their constitution, their governing paperwork, the penal code outlaws unnatural sex behavior. It does not clearly outlaw homosexuality. However, it has been interpreted through popular culture to include homosexual acts. And homosexual acts, as I said, seems to be defined as anal sex. None of the other gamut of homosexual acts seem to scare them the way anal sex does.
Okay. It's crazy.
Sorry.
crazy.
So that's
No,
I mean, that's where it can go. And in the radio interview that I heard today, they were talking about how they claimed some high number, like 80% of the country was behind the bill, but when they started talking to people, what they found were people were deathly afraid of appearing at all against it.
Right, of course.
Because they would immediately be charged as being gay themselves.
Yeah, that's scary.
Just for supporting not putting people to death.
Right.
And so that's how something like this can perpetuate itself.
Yeah, because there's such a strong sentiment among the powerful in Uganda that any dissenting voice. This is why, as you've pointed out on so many occasions, our anti-discrimination laws are to protect the voice of the minority from the majority.
Right.
Right, yeah. That's insane. That's just absolutely insane. But I think we sometimes lose sight. We lose sight. I mean, obviously, we have work to do in this country, you know. But I think we sometimes lose sight of the way things are in the rest of the world.
Where some parts of it.
Yeah, some places are pretty awful.
Yeah,
But
I'm
anyway.
sorry I interrupted the Jamaica thing. It's just that when she mentioned it earlier, it wiped the sarcastic smirk off my face, because my first reaction to stories is to think of the funny remark to make as a result.
Yeah.
But that just, I went cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's horrible.
Yeah. Because, you know, you're not going to get evidence of a homosexual act. It's going to be the accusation of a homosexual act.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, terrible, terrible thing. We have a call. Good evening, NLC Trans. You're on the air.
Hi, it's Tambria.
Hi, Tambria.
Hey.
I just wanted to comment that the Uganda thing, it's funny because at like roughly the same time, they criminalized the whole female genitalia mutilation
Yeah.
tradition.
Oh,
It
yeah,
makes no
horrible.
sense. You know, it's like you can kill someone for doing this, but yeah, so. But also I wanted to comment, I don't know if you guys already mentioned Governor Patterson signing the transgender protection order today.
Yeah, the
Yes.
executive order in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
That
is
is
exciting.
Very.
That is.
Hopefully it'll be going on the national level for workplace.
Well, and hopefully it'll push the legislatures in the legislature in New York State to pass it more broadly as part of the state law so that it covers everyone, not just state employees.
Right, right. Okay. Well, if I don't talk to you next week, because God knows what we're doing, you know, with the holidays, you all have a happy holiday.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Robert comes home stateside Saturday,
Oh,
great.
that's
Right.
great.
my son. So I'm real excited. I'm telling everyone.
Yeah, that is so good. That's wonderful.
Well, and who's he been serving with?
Marines.
Marines.
Yeah, he's been out in Iraq.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, bye, ladies.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Tambria. Thanks. Have a wonderful Christmas. That's so nice. That's Tambria Moore, who is co-host of
Street Talk.
Street Talk.
It's like family night here.
It's family. Yeah, that's nice. Wonderful, wonderful.
So we'll
Anyway.
make Uganda stuff off the top because I don't want to look at it anymore.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Anyway, I wanted to I'll just talk about this briefly.
Please.
There's a lot of stuff here, and I'm not going to get into a lot of, go into a lot of detail at this time. I probably will, at a later date. But they do have they have an organization called JFLAG. Interesting.
Right.
JFLAG.
Close to our P flag.
COSTAR, which is a Jamaica Forum for Lesbians, all sexuals, and gays. All sexuals. That's an interesting term.
That's what I was just noticing.
But apparently a lot of people have been murdered, attacked, and disappeared in Jamaica because they've been gay. Jamaica being labeled here by international media as the most homophobic place on earth. Yeah, it's just crazy, and it's such a shame because Jamaica is such a cool place, and I would love to visit there, but now I'm kind of afraid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really is. It's a wonderful place with really cool history and really nice people, and I was sorry to hear that it's such a homophobic place.
Well, I guess
But-
if you do go, stay in the high tourist areas.
Yeah.
Not that that's any guarantee, but
Yeah, I know. It's just a shame. But that's interesting. I'm going to have to go over this stuff very carefully and talk about this more at a later date. But JFLAG,
Yeah.
they have their own
Island Paradise has
organization.
been labeled the most homophobic place on earth by international media
Yeah.
because of the exposure, the real threat that may face LGBT.
So,
Hmm.
I probably won't go back there anytime soon. But that's unfortunate because it really is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And they have some of the reefs. I spent some time in Jamaica some years back at Runaway Bay, and the reefs just offshore were so beautiful. The diving and the snorkeling was so cool. But anyway, just a beautiful place, and I'm sorry to hear that. And thank you to our friend who has been sending us stuff and sends us nice cards and things, and that's so cool. But hopefully we will have him on our show at some point when he gets out. I wanted to talk, before we run out of time, I wanted to remind everybody that the Alliance for Living is doing their Living Trees. So go get go get a card and buy a gift for
Yep.
some young person.